Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I figured I'd go ahead and film Jackson's 1 month update. He's technically like 1 month and 1 week, but I wanted to go ahead and get this filmed before it's too late. I know with Rowan I really wanted to film a lot of these videos and I kept completely forgetting to, or I would get maybe like a few of them done, and then I think I stopped for him around like 6 months. I don't even remember, but I definitely wish I didn't stop, because now I want to look back at it and see, is Jackson the same way? Is he like marking the same kind of milestones that Rowan was hitting? So kind of upset that I didn't do that with Rowan. So I want to make sure that I do that with Jackson, at least for the first year. That way, for our next baby, I can look back and reference these videos. So before we get started, make sure you guys go ahead, head on over to our Instagrams if you want to follow us over there for more behind the scenes footage. We only upload here on this channel about once a week. So obviously we're a little bit more active on Instagrams if you guys want to kind of see more of our lives. And then on top of that, if you guys like mommy lifestyle videos, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and let's just get started with the video. So first of all, heads up, apologies if I am looking at my phone at all. I have everything written down in my notes for this video, so I am referencing all of that. Anyways, if you guys haven't seen my labor and delivery story with him, then you wouldn't know, but we did have him early at about 36 weeks. I think it was maybe 36 weeks in like 3 days. But we did have him early, so he is technically considered a late preterm baby. Or is it like mid preterm? I don't know. He's technically considered a preterm baby though, so we did have to do like all the extra testing with him and everything. But he came born weighing at 5 pounds 11 ounces, and he is now 7 pounds 11 ounces. So he's gained a solid 2 pounds, which the doctors were really happy with. So that's where his weight currently stands. He's also still in newborn clothing. I haven't tried putting any 0 to 3 month clothing on him. He's definitely starting to fill out his newborn clothing a lot better. But I think 0 to 3 months would be too long on him. So staying in newborn clothing for right now, as well as diapers. He is still in newborn diapers. I do think soon, oh my goodness. I do think soon we'll be moving him up to size 1 diapers, maybe in like another week or so, just because he is starting to get a little snug in his newborn diapers, but they're definitely still the ones that fit him the best. But probably gonna go up to size 1 diapers in like a week or so. So next I'm going to talk about how he is feeding. So we are breastfeeding exclusively. He's only taken a bottle, I think 2 or 3 times. I'm not really trying to give him a bottle that much. With Rowan, we switched from breastfeeding to bottle feeding around like I think 3 months was when he started taking breast milk at the bottle. And then at 4 months with Rowan, we switched to completely formula. So I'm trying with Jackson to breastfeed a little bit longer. Ideally, I would hit like 6 months of just breastfeeding, and then we can go ahead and add in breast milk with a bottle. So we haven't been doing any bottle feeding that much. If anything, it's like, oh, if I pumped accidentally too close to his eating time, then we'll just go ahead and give him the bottle and be like, whoops, okay, better not do that next time. So that's what we've been doing so far. I have been building a big supply in the freezer. I am going to do a whole separate video on comparing like my breastfeeding journeys with Rowan and Jackson, just because I feel like they are so different so far. And I'm trying to breastfeed different this time around, a little bit longer, and trying different things than I tried with Rowan. So I did want to do a whole separate video on that. Let me know if you guys would be interested. But yeah, fortunately, even though he was born early, something that you're concerned about usually with 36 and 37 weekers, honestly, is not having the good suckle reflex. Fortunately, with both Rowan and Jackson, I haven't had any issues with them being able to latch and sucking, so that's been good. There's no issues there, like there's no tongue ties, lip ties, anything like that. So we're kind of set up to have a pretty, not easy breastfeeding experience, but set up to potentially have a really good successful one. So hopefully that stays the same. During the daytime, he's waking up probably like every hour or 2 right now to eat, and then at night I would say he probably only wakes up like 3 times to eat. Otherwise he sleeps pretty solidly through the night. Right now he is definitely going through a growth spurt though, so I think that's why he's feeding so often in the morning times, and like the daytime eating like every hour or so. He is sleeping pretty well at night. The first week that we came home, he was awake like every 40 minutes. I swear he did not sleep well those first few nights, and on top of that, obviously we're still trying to figure out how to balance our evenings with Rowan on top of everything. So the first like week was definitely a struggle, especially at night. Now, like I said, he sleeps pretty solidly through the night, maybe wakes up like 3 times to eat. I want to say at like 10 o'clock I feel like I'm feeding him, and then around like 12 to 1 a.m. I'm feeding him, and then again around like 4ish I feel like I'm feeding him. So hopefully he does what Rowan does when he was that little and eventually just like stops waking up to eat in the middle of the night, and only, you know, like they'll sleep through the night and they only wake up, I think Rowan woke up at like midnight to eat, and then he would sleep till 6 a.m. So hopefully Jackson does that. That would be great. But that's how sleep's been going. He does sleep in the Halo bassinet, I believe. I think it's just like the original. It doesn't have any of the fancy buttons or anything. He sleeps in the Halo bassinet next to our bed. And he does pretty great in that. He doesn't like being swaddled at night, that's for sure. He doesn't like being swaddled in general. Right when he came out, for some reason, he's just been a major thumb sucker. Rowan never really sucked his thumb growing up, but Jackson, like literally in the first 24 hours, was just constantly looking for his hand to suck his thumb, which is fine by me. I didn't really want to give him pacifiers. If you couldn't see right now, he does have a pacifier, and I'll explain why in a minute. But yeah, so he does not like to be swaddled. He will break out of any swaddle you put him in just to get his hands up near his face and to suck on his hands. So we don't really swaddle him that much. Sometimes I will swaddle him with his hands out, or just like one hand out. That way he can still move his hands and bring them up to his face and comfort himself, but he's still getting that like snug feeling that babies like so much. So that's kind of where we're at with swaddling. Now, some major things that have happened in his first month is reflux and gas. So after about the first week or two, he started to be really, really gassy, and in not the great kind of way. So he has like a really painful gas a lot of the time. So we have to do a lot of the bicycle legs and bringing his knees up to his chest to try and help him pass the gas. I will say it has definitely gotten better. We kind of figured a few of the reasons that he was having it were my diet, and then because of the thumb sucking. So my diet, we thought, you know, dairy and eggs are kind of like the big things that can upset their stomach. So I have cut those out, and honestly, when I cut out the dairy, it didn't do very much. I did the dairy first because I thought that dairy first, and then I noticed that it was attached to eggs. So I think he's more so just intolerant to eggs, which is like super normal. I know that my cousin, he has an egg sensitivity as well, so it might just be like a genetic thing. I know that gluten allergies run in my family, but I'm already gluten-free. So I don't think it's much so dairy, more so the eggs, but I am cutting out both of those things just to try and help him. We also think the other thing might have been that just because he was born preemie, he might have more of an immature digestive system, so it's just taking him a little bit longer to kind of get used to the foods that I'm eating that are going through my breast milk. And then the other thing, like I said, was the sucking his thumb that my mom mentioned. It might just be because, you know, if he's sucking at his thumb, he's obviously getting a lot of air in. It's not just like a normal thumb suck, like he's still little, so he's constantly pulling his fingers out of his mouth and in his mouth, trying to suck on them. I don't know, this sounds weird, but anyways, because of that, we think he was getting a bunch of extra air in, so we are trying pacifiers. The other reason I decided to try pacifiers is because of his reflux. I learned that it can definitely help babies with reflux, which I'll talk about the reflux in a second. So these are the pacifiers we are giving him. He dropped it. He doesn't really like them that much. He will suck on it until he falls asleep, and then, as you saw, he'll just spit it out, and he's kind of over it, and that's fine. I don't really want him getting attached to pacifiers. I didn't want to give him pacifiers anyways because Rowan's super attached to his pacifier, and we're trying to wean him off of it, and I felt like it would be really confusing for him if suddenly this new baby's come into the house that mom's giving all of her attention to, and he's getting pacifiers, but meanwhile they're taking my pacifier away. Like, that's not fair. So we try not to use it too much during the day. I only use it if he's trying to go to sleep, because he does struggle going to sleep a lot because of the gas pain and everything. So we only use it mostly at night, and during naps we'll get him to sleep and then he'll spit it out and we'll take it. That way Rowan doesn't see him having it and have a bit of a meltdown because he doesn't get to have his, or it's just like, why does he have a pacifier, and takes it away from him, because he does like to do that. Now, as for the reflux, he does spit up quite a bit. He definitely has, his reflux started to pick up as his gas went away. So he started solving his gas issue, and then all of a sudden he started having this reflux issue. So we have to try to keep him held up for like 15 to 20 minutes after eating. And I try to feed him sitting up so that he doesn't just like choke himself. He has this gagging thing that's awful. Another big reason why we think he has really bad reflux as well is because I have a really forceful letdown a lot of the time, especially throughout the night and early in the morning. My letdown gets really forceful, so he kind of chokes on it, and then he's getting extra air in, so it's just all kind of a mess. But I will say his reflux and his gas have been getting better with my diet changes, and just as he's gotten older, again, we think it was just his immature digestive system, so that's been really fortunate. Hopefully within the next month it'll be completely solved and he will be a happy baby. Right now he's a little fussy because he doesn't like being put down for naps, but hopefully that all changes. Anyways, you guys, that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this kind of gave you some insight for your 1-month-old of what you guys can kind of expect, and I think it's just nice to be able to compare and see where your kid's at along with others. So I'm really excited to be able to look back at these when I have my next kid, which hopefully won't be for a little bit. But like I said, make sure you guys go ahead, head on over to our Instagrams, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.